Hey everyone, welcome to this week's crypto update. So it's been a big week. Obviously, we had the Ethereum merge happen, and I also want to get into Curve, which is a project that's on the Ethereum blockchain that I think is extremely important to the future of DeFi. So the Ethereum merge, obviously a huge event, in my opinion, was actually the second biggest event to ever happen in crypto other than the creation of the Bitcoin network, and that is because it was a total transformation of the second biggest blockchain by market cap in all of crypto. And it's been compared actually to changing the engine of an airplane mid-flight. And I would give credence to that analogy because it's something that's really never been attempted, let alone done before in the world of crypto. It was changing the overall blockchain consensus from proof of work to proof of stake. Obviously, proof of work is done through mining and solving really complex mathematical equations, and proof of stake is done by running a validator node, which you have to have at least 32 Ethereum stake to do. So there are pros and cons to each, but I don't really want to get into that in this video. I think it's a great move for Ethereum, and I think it's going to pay off. One of the biggest things with the Ethereum merge that a lot of people have been looking forward to is the fact that it's going to most likely make Ethereum a deflationary asset overall going forward. And that is because the miners got a vast majority of the overall Ethereum rewards. Basically, they got Ethereum for solving those equations in the proof of work system, and that was about 90% of the total Ethereum token distributions. The rest of them go to the validators in the proof of stake system. Now, all of those miner rewards are gone, and so the only Ethereum being distributed is being distributed to the validators. So the amount of Ethereum being added to the supply now every day is much, much, much lower. And you also have the Ethereum fee burns going on, which is whenever there's a transaction done on the Ethereum network, you pay a transaction fee in Ethereum, and part of that fee is burned, it's wiped out of circulation. So the net result of those two things is that Ethereum is going to be deflationary going forward, and you can already see that it is deflationary in the just after 6 hours after the merge. Ethereum, the total supply has actually gone down, so it already is deflationary in the midst of a bear market too, where you don't have nearly as many transactions, which means you don't have nearly as many fees, which means the amount of fees being burned is very low relative to where it would be in a bull market. So if it's deflationary now in a bear market where everything's very quiet, just imagine what's going to be in a bull market when fees not only are higher in dollar value, but also more frequent as user adoption always grows exponentially during a bull market. So the future of Ethereum is looking very, very bright in that regard. And that brings me to Curve, which is on Ethereum as well as many other blockchains on this point, but it got its start on Ethereum. So Curve started out as a stablecoin exchange, and they've revolutionized the overall incentive area of DeFi. So obviously DeFi being so new, these projects are really trying to come up with ways to drive adoption and get users into them to see the benefits of DeFi, and also of course gain attention for their projects. But the thing is, a lot of these originally started out with you saying that you own the token and you get to vote on governance matters. And the reality is that this is really no different than the stock market. And if you're just a small player, there's not really much for you to be concerned with. And people that have a lot of the governance tokens actually end up having a lot of the control over things that the smaller users probably don't even understand, let alone want to vote on. So Curve is revolutionizing this because they give out rewards for doing certain things. So Curve actually pays you interest in the CRV token, which is the ticker for the Curve DAO token, when you deposit different coins into their app. So that obviously incentivizes people to go out and buy coins that are paid in high interest rates in Curve. And you also get paid in Curve if you lock up your Curve tokens in order to vote on things. So if you can lock up your tokens for up to 4 years. The longer you lock them up, the more Curve interest you're paid. And also, the longer you lock them up, the more interest you're paid on the coins that you actually deposit into Curve. And I go into this in way more detail into the Substack because I think it's easier to get the point across in writing than in video. But I just wanted to give a brief overview of Curve and the amazing things it's doing for DeFi, driving adoption, and also incentivization. They're one of the biggest projects out there in terms of TVL, which is total value locked, which means that a lot of people are putting a lot of money into this app because they want to earn Curve tokens, and they also want those voting rights. Because if you are starting a crypto project, you can actually list your coin on Curve, and if you own a lot of Curve, you can vote on how much Curve or the CRV token is paid out to people who deposit your coin into Curve. So it really has a incentivization loop too for people that are trying to get their projects out there and drive adoption for their own projects. So say if you put USDC into Curve, you get paid 1% interest in CRV. But if you are a newer project and you own a lot of Curve already, and you put your new coin onto Curve, you can vote for Curve to pay like 10% interest to people that deposit your coin into the app. So it incentivizes not only newer projects to drive adoption, but it also incentivizes people to go out and buy the coins for those newer projects and earn higher interest rates on them. So this has given birth to what is known as the Curve Wars. This really started last year, but it's gotten much bigger and much more prominent in the world of DeFi. And the Curve Wars are essentially a group of projects that are trying to buy up as much Curve as they can so they can influence the interest payments on different projects in the Curve app. So Convex Finance is by far the leader in this right now. They own over 52% of the total locked Curve, which means they have 52% of the voting rights on Curve. And now people are even buying Convex in order to vote on Convex governance proposals so that Convex can vote on Curve proposals to incentivize the people that are holding Convex. So it's now kind of turned into the Convex Wars, but Yearn Finance, Stake DAO, and some other ones are also holding massive amounts of Curve. And this obviously is also very good for supply and demand. So it drives scarcity when huge players like these projects are incentivized to lock up their Curve. That obviously has very good effects on supply, and demand with the Curve Wars adds to demand. So I think Curve right now, and of course this isn't financial advice, but I think it's a really great project, one of the best ones in DeFi, if not the best, in terms of actually driving use cases in adoption and incentivization. So I just wanted to give that overview of Curve, and definitely check out the Substack too, because I go into much more detail. If you have more questions, definitely leave them below or comment on the Substack article, and I will read those going forward. So thank you so much for watching, and I will see you again next Wednesday for the macro and stock update.